Hello and welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Join us for a little inspiration, a little motivation, and perhaps a way to cope with your day. I am Mike from Virginia, and my gratitude today is for a beautiful summer day.
Good morning, folks. My name is Earl, hailing out of the beautiful state of North Carolina. And my gratitude for today is actually a good day, low humidity and no rain today.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Jay Anderson from the beautiful state of West Virginia. My gratitude for the day is peacefulness.
Hey guys, I am Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida. My gratitude for the day is sleep. Um, Today, Jay Shetty talked about revising your history. A lot of times we purposely misrepresent the past, right? He was talking about having a positive way to revise history, right? That thing that maybe annoyed us or we felt like was a waste of our time was actually worth it, right? And how do we keep an open mind to pay off in the long run, right? He spoke of being shy as a kid. He was mortified to speak in public, right? His parents decided to sign him up for a public speaking class, and he was terrified, of something that he didn't want to do that, right? But he ended up doing it for 9 hours a week for 7 years, right? And when he graduated high school, he thought he was done. He thought, I'm done with that, right? But his passion was actually making wisdom go viral. So what did he do? He was still public speaking, right? And those classes that he took that he really didn't want to take were extremely useful to what he does now, right? He thought they were a waste of time, but they were actually the cornerstone for who he is now. Just because we don't immediately see the value of something doesn't mean that it won't have value in the future. A lot of times we feel annoyed or we feel like this is a waste of our time to participate in something that is not useful at this very moment, right? We do want to be good stewards of our time, but the next time you think something is not worthwhile, keep an open mind because you never know if you're going to use that in the future, right? Like we don't know what the future actually holds. But a lot of times, if it is a waste of our time, we do get annoyed in the moment. Would you guys agree? Like we definitely get annoyed about wasting our time. Like, why are we doing this? This makes no sense, right? But in the long run, we may use it down the road. We just don't know.
Yeah, how many times have we said this is stupid?
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely.
Yeah, I want to open this one up because I struggled with the meaning of revise your history a little bit. I was not tracking in the beginning of this necessarily. Uh,
I agree.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was kind of tough. Then at the end, uh, a saying, a famous saying by a man by the name of James Dean. Now, there's some of us on here that might know him, and there might be others that don't know him. But James
I do
Dean,
know him.
okay, okay. You're just assuming I was speaking of you.
I am
But
just assuming.
but
My
anyways,
assumption is right.
James Dean had a quote, and it came across to me. Maybe I needed to use this quote to understand this. And the quote is, although you cannot change the direction of the wind, you can adjust your sails to navigate through it. And I think that maybe that's where I am with this particular topic. Although you cannot change the direction of the wind, being your past, you can adjust your sails from your past to navigate through it. And I think that that was the only way that allowed me to really dig into the title is revise your history. So I think from my interpretation, that's the where Jay Shetty was heading with this. How do you guys feel? I mean, I might be open-minded here to change my mind.
My thought is you do some things in life that you maybe didn't want to do, or you got pushed into doing it. and you didn't see the value at the time. But then as an
Yeah.
adult, value comes right into your face, right? I think of
Earl, what you thinking, buddy? Those wheels are turning. I see the eyes all frowned up there.
I didn't want to cut Mike off. I did have something on my mind I wanted to say.
uh,
Mike,
Jay
you
didn't mind at all.
I was thinking my immediate example that comes to mind is typing class in high school. Did I want to take typing class in high school? I did.
what I
They're
wanted
very
to
valuable.
what I wanted to say was the one thing I've discovered is life is full of mysteries. Each chapter that we write in our own book will be full of mysteries, meaning, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Obviously, we're learning a lesson because we'll always be learning lessons in life. But the question is, what direction is it going into? So, are we on the right path? We constantly ask ourselves that question. And sometimes, I mean, this can go back as far as high school. I mean, middle school, high school. Of course, in those stages, you're just getting through school. I mean, you go to school to learn. After school, after you graduate, and sometimes we may have to change paths 3 or 4 times to realize, oh, this is my path. Okay, it's like going to driving school. Am I supposed to make this right turn or left turn? Am I supposed to go straight? You come to a stop sign. Like, okay, now what?
Right.
And I think, yeah, I think in life, it'll always be full of mysteries because, even though when you think you're on the right path, then comes the challenge of, okay, maybe I got to take classes or, go back to school on something because they're making me do it. You ask yourself, why me? Well, that's part. I think that's part of the challenge that we go through.
Yeah.
So
And oh, go ahead.
take what you just said. I have a question.
Yep.
Do you think that in life, the experiences that we have, that later on in life, it comes full circle and it comes back around and we start to experience something, and then all of a sudden, wait a second, I know firsthand how this could work. Or wait a second, danger, danger, Will Robinson, stay away.
Well, it's like when I
Do
was in
you
the,
do you
yeah,
think things come full circle?
for sure. Like okay, so in the military, like, there's a lot of things that we do in basic training that we're like, why in hell does it matter how my shirts are folded? And if they're 6 inches or whatever, like, why does that matter? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that you do in the military and basic training that you're thinking to yourself, like, this does not matter in life at all. When in actuality, they're preparing you for the little things to be able to see
The
and
detail.
yeah, like see the detail in what's happening in the bigger picture, right? So they're
Well,
preparing us for that, but in the moment, you're like, why does this matter? And why do they keep tearing all my clothes out of my locker thing? It's because they weren't at the 6 inches or whatever it is.
Right, right.
well, look at
Because if
look.
you were,
That's
okay,
interesting.
I would say because if you were packing something that was really important and you left something out because it was a room, that could be the one thing you needed, right?
Yes.
Exactly. I call that the Yogi Berra theory.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Like
That's
so
good.
my two of my well, my daughter and my son's girlfriend on different vacations, both of them different vacations, but they both forgot underwear. So now that's on our list. Like, don't forget your underwear because like it's happened twice now. So it's like one of those things that happened, but now the rest of us will never forget our underwear, right?
Right.
Or they secretly wanted to buy new underwear.
Yeah. That could be too. I don't know. I mean, they ended up with crappy underwear, so
Well, great.
Well, there's a reason why when we pack to go, like on business trips and stuff, we always pack extra socks, extra underwear, extra pair of shorts, extra pair of shirts, You just don't know what you're going to run into on these trips. And if you don't go prepared, then you're going to hate yourself saying, I should have brought this, I should have brought that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely
And,
don't have that problem. I overpack like crazy, so
but going back to what you said a couple of minutes ago, Christine, I mean, we're all licensed insurance professionals here. When we went to take our tests, and this has been repeated numerous times, 40% of what you take on the test you're never going to use anyway, but we have to pass the test anyway because that's the way it is.
for sure. Yeah, so there's stuff that we learned that we'll never use, right? Or maybe
Right,
we could use it in the future, but we don't know, right?
right. Why they put it in the test, it's a mystery. But you know what? The important thing is, if you want to go to work, if you want to do, what we're doing, you got to pass the test. That's all there is to it. Just do it.
Is useless knowledge truly useless?
No, it can be used in another way, and it
Well,
probably
if you
be
don't
in the
use it,
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole. I just couldn't resist.
Right?
Okay, Jay. Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
You right. It's interesting. I think I think us as humans want the cycle to be completed. I think we yearn for it. We have no clue that we yearn for it. And I think what happens is when you revise your history, you go back and you're going through an experience now, and it's something that you had an experience similar, if not the same, a while back, and you apply life experience to that, the outcome becomes happier. And I think that's what we don't recognize. I mean, I think we just brush it off as life experience, and we don't put a lot of thought into it. And I feel like maybe Jay is saying, sometimes when you're going through hard times, think back at some of this stuff that you've really had some hard times with, and
Mhm.
maybe this is not quite as bad. Vice versa, think back about some of the fun times that you had, and how you can make the most of what you're doing now because of those fun times. So it can go both ways. It doesn't have to be negative to pay attention to what's going on. It can be positive. And I think this is Jay, again, the strongest thing for Jay Shetty is he hunts for mental wellness, is kind of what I think he was alluding to as to where he stands. He just wants everybody to be good. Self-awareness is part of that. You know,
Yeah.
coping and self-accountability has to be part of that as well. So it's
yeah.
interesting, and it's a heavy combination when you speak it out loud,
Well,
but it is.
even when you guys all started this business, right? They always talk about reading books. I'm like, what is the point of reading books? Like, I mean, when I first started, it took me a year to read the first book, right? And then once I read the first book, then it was kind of like a progression into now I don't go a day without reading, right?
Mm.
Like now it's part of my morning routine, it's part of who I am. But at the moment I'm thinking to myself, like, why do we even need to read books? Like that doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to be a better person by reading a book to sell insurance, which is not true because you are definitely a
Which
different
is not
person.
true, but still yet,
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
gave, not that I was a heavy reader, but I gave up reading fiction when I joined Symmetry because of what you just said, Christine. That the one of the core values is self-development, personal growth.
Mm.
And I saw value in that.
Right.
And then I started reading the different books, that were recommended or someone would throw out there and say, hey, man, this is really good. This is a great read. Somewhere, I don't know, about a couple of years ago, someone for my birthday gave me a fiction book. Okay. And man, I started reading. I didn't put that sucker down. I knocked it out in a day and a half. I mean, it was a page turner for me. What it allowed me to do was forget about the everyday hum ho of life and me concentrate on a narrative that the author was trying to sell me. And it just took me in another land. Now, is that useless time, wasteful time? I don't know. Maybe. It depends on how you want to look at it. Could
Right.
it, could it have given me the peace and the time and the quiet that I needed from maybe the rat race that we live in? Possibly. I don't know. But self-awareness is key to all this. And I think that that's part of what we do.
I agree with you, Jay. I can take a John Grisham novel, tear through that thing in
Yeah.
a couple
Yes.
days.
John Grisham, I mean, that man was anything that he writes is a page turner, and he is an actual lawyer, so that makes it even the twist and the stories that he does is
Yeah.
he understands how to bring the law into it, and we're like, really? Is that a true law? Which I really don't know if it is or not. He could be leaning on, well, they think that I'm a lawyer and I know this stuff, so therefore we're going to try this direction. Hey, but law is about understanding the gray. Think
Hmm.
about that.
For sure.
The other thing I did is when a TV show started a couple of years ago, I realized it was based on a novels, and I started reading those novels. I like mysteries, but mysteries teach you how to think. Solving mysteries, or how other people solve mysteries, and how the facts fall together, teach you how to think. So it's value. It may
Hey,
not be Robert Kiyosaki, but it's value.
Definitely not Robert Kiyosaki, but like, well, okay, so why can't we read a self-help book like that?
but we can. And I was getting ready to say that. That's
Yeah.
funny that you just brought that up because I was getting ready to spark that. Think about this. You just said something, Mike. Maybe this will help me even more so. Revise your history. You have to bring in critical thinking to be able to revise your history.
For sure.
And critical thinking is then having the concept of thinking things through. And sometimes when you're judging your past to create what the now or the future will be, that critical thinking is a very important component. So maybe critical thinking, Mike, is another area
And
subconsciously Jay Shetty was trying to hit us with.
has you ever thought about that? No one's path was predetermined nor chosen for them. You can argue there are some rare cases where it was, but no. I I could have stayed on the farm. I would have been miserable, I think, but I could have stayed on the farm.
I
Right.
think I might differ a little than you on that, Mike. My faith leads me to think that our paths are predetermined. There's just no way of us knowing it.
No, it's too big of a picture. We can't understand it or
Yeah.
fathom it.
Okay. But what we think was our destiny, I still keep going back to my senior class in high school. My best friends, one had a passion for journalism. She was going to be a writer, a reporter. He ended up teaching journalism in high school for 20 years.
Mm.
One was going to be a lawyer. She became a lawyer, ended up working for Jamie Dimon. One was going to be a lawyer, but his passion was really politics. He ended up being like an executive director of a foundation that had to deal with changing laws and so forth. I said I wanted to be a doctor. Yet in high school, if there was a accounting or treasurer's job to be done, I did it. So I could have seen my path, but I didn't immediately follow it.
And then go figure that you'd end up in the banking world. Just saying.
Exactly.
I can't remember what I wanted to be.
I wanted to be a civil engineer until I went and watched what they did, and I was like, nope, this is not what I really want to do. Plus,
I
I don't have
would
like an engineer mind. Like I just don't think like that. So it wasn't the path I was supposed to go down at all.
Right.
I
What
wanted
about
to
you,
be an
Earl? Can you remember
orthopedic.
what you wanted to be?
I got, I got a Rod Stewart song going through my head, and this one's a beauty. So I wish that I knew what I know now.
Oh,
Meaning,
yeah.
yeah. And when I hear that song, it's like, gee, if I had that opportunity again, and I can't keep reminding myself, don't look back in the past. You got to think of present and future.
We do have to think about the future, but a lot of times our past shapes who we are today, right? So,
Right.
and there's things that happen in our life, like situations, circumstances, maybe something bad's going on in our life, and we're trying to figure out how to navigate it. A lot of times we can look to the past and figure out, well, how did I get through this before? Right? And it'll help us navigate better or maybe in a different way or different manner than we did before.
It's interesting. I remember talking to my friend Erin. Erin is a high school classmate of mine, and hopefully by the end of the year, she's going to be a recruit in my business. She was telling me, she goes, would you believe it that about talking to all the classmates, I think only 30% of the people have actually followed their trade. And that's a big, she goes, that's actually a very generous number. She goes, a lot of people change occupations or change careers, maybe for a purpose or a reason, but it shows you just
Because they
never
don't
know
know
what
what to do.
you don't know. You don't know. See, life. That's why I said at the beginning, our life path is a mystery because you just don't know what the future holds for you, what the universe has for you.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like when we're in high school, right, we think one thing, we think we're gonna do this one thing. And then we graduate and maybe we're starting to pursue it, but maybe not. And then all of a sudden we're like, well, what do I want to do with my life? And I experienced this with three like adults that are transitioning, like I have an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, and a 21-year-old that are all trying to figure out what they're going to do. Like the 21-year-old, when she was 19, had no clue. And now she works for Verizon and is doing phenomenal, right? But she didn't know what she wanted to do. And will she stay at Verizon for the rest of her life? Maybe, maybe not. I
Right.
don't know.
That's right.
But it's the trying to figure out what it is. And a lot of times they're really hard on themselves because they don't have it figured out. They don't have a clue what they want to do.
So here's an interesting thought. And if anybody knows more on this, please chime in because I don't know a lot. But at least we have options. There are countries when you're in high school, it's predetermined by your strong suit within where you are in high school as to what your future is going to be.
For
And
sure.
you are directed into that. Okay. Uh, Now we might do aptitude tests. You might have, in college to get in, ACT, SAT tests to get in and have to score. But that's just an entry test. That's nothing more. It doesn't give you necessarily a direction that you have to go to. If it is that you go to college, okay. And I think what we're seeing is we're really starting to see a transition, and which I'm proud to see, of trade schools really picking the pace up because it's so needed.
Because
And these people
AI
can
is
go
not taking
in
trades.
trade schools nowadays are a true college experience because it does provide some of the best lively life experiences that are out there. But it's just interesting, uh, folks. I think it's easy to see that we're not trained therapists, or we don't want to be. But let me ask you a question. If you hear the title Revise Your History, what angle do you see out of that? How do you feel about that type of statement? Do you like to go down the rabbit hole and say, hey, man, my past history was this, and this is what I've learned from it? Or do you just go, let's take everyday forwards as that? Straightforwards, don't look in the past. These are things that we like to try to get into through the app Calm, listening to Jay Shetty on a daily basis. He provides some just eye-opening, ear-dropping statements that really make you think. If you like to think, this is a platform for you. Please join us on a daily basis.
And please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, come back for more. Thanks. Have a great day.
Deuces.